remember when we were here, Dad, if we took a tour or not. But it's got me wondering because I remember you knew. We were wondering who that was, and you said Pontius Pilate, which is correct. And I remember being impressed that you knew who that was because I didn't know who that was. Obviously I haven't read the Bible or anything. But I'm like, how did you know that? Did we take an audio tour or something? Yeah, I don't remember. But the tour that I just took, it was good. I kind of zoned out a lot because my Spanish has definitely gotten worse. It's been like probably a year since I've had like really good practice with it. So it's good being here. But I'm like, okay, maybe I ought to go back to Latin America for a few months to work on my Spanish because when I'm here in Barcelona and I'm speaking Spanish with shopkeepers or whatever, I can definitely feel that it's more rusty. Still certainly enough to get around, but not like it used to be. So gotta get back into some immersion. Now let me show you and Mom the inside so you can see it again. And Mom hasn't been here at all, so she ought to see the inside here. I know someday hopefully you two will be here in person together, but let's check it out. This is so memorable to me. It was pretty burned into my memory coming with Dad just because it's so beautiful, and it was such an amazing time, being here with Dad. I was really, really glad to experience this with him. So even though it was a couple years ago and just, one time, I still remember the layout and everything really well because it's pretty unforgettable. It's interesting, being in a church like this that's as spectacular or more so than, the major churches of Europe, but it's unfinished and it's so much modern art and style. You come over here and there's like the statues of the what are these guys, the apostles or the ones who wrote the books of the Bible, and it's like the statues are kind of, I don't even know what the style would be called, like cubic, on the wings. It's definitely not like other churches where it's very realistic or Gothic or whatever. So it's a very different feel, but it's just spectacular. And I love the coloring of the windows as they, pour in, and it makes the whole thing like a rainbow. It gives each step you take a little different feel as the colors change. Really an incredible place. And in half an hour, I'm going to go up in one of the towers. I don't remember which one we went into. There's two towers that you're able to go up in. I don't remember which one we did, so it might be the same one again. I don't think it probably matters that much. I can't imagine that I'm doing it justice with the camera, but it's something. Sagrada Familia of Barcelona. Man. Well, hopefully that gives Mom the idea that she should come here someday. We'll walk around until half an hour from now when I'm going up in the tower. You know what I was thinking in seeing Sagrada Familia, the church? One thing that I love about visiting churches in Europe is you get, a sense of the past. It's like the history of it is so amazing, and the feeling of stepping into another time. I love that. And something that's so interesting about being in a modern, under construction church that makes, really no effort to feel like an old style church. It feels very modern. One thing I like about this is this must be, in a way, how people actually felt at the time stepping into, a cathedral or something and being amazed at the, when Gothic cathedrals were built. Gothic was the newest movement in art and architecture in Europe. They weren't getting a sense of back to an old time. They were getting probably a sense of some, modernity and cutting edge art and architecture and the technology of building, just like you get when you come into Sagrada Familia today. That's how I feel. It's like wow, this is so new. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. And yeah, it's pretty cool that what I'm saying is, in a way, that is another kind of connection with history, is the fact that this is so modern. It must give us the same feeling that people had stepping into churches that we now see as ancient and old, because it was modern at the time, you know? So that's a cool feeling, kind of having the same experience that they had by being, you know, wowed and seeing something new. But yeah, there we go. Makes me nervous having my phone out here. It's beautiful. You know, this is an interesting thing that I noticed. They used glass bottles to decorate Sagrada Familia. Yeah, that is interesting. Okay, now that's a view. Hey, if I drop my phone, that'll also be an interesting video. Now to descend the tower. That annoyed me. The bells were going off, and then I looked because I wanted to see the bells. They're just speakers. What a ripoff. Alright, I'm gonna not make you watch through my whole walking down 500 stairs. So, wow, okay, this is really cool. So this is there's a little museum next to the Sagrada Familia, and this was the original proposal for a church, and that wasn't by Gaudi. And then Gaudi took the proposal and made it into this, which, for reference, this is the final version. This is what we see today. So we can kind of see how it evolved from a very traditional looking church. This one took it, you know, a little less traditional, but still definitely doesn't look as wild as it does today. And then I guess he designed Colonia Gel. I think that's probably the big park that, you know, Gaudi has a bunch of his art in. And it became a lot more, how would you describe this? More curves, more angles, less blocky, I guess. I don't know. See how everything's like coming up at angles, kind of like kind of wonky. And then, you know, he took it just to the extreme that we see today. I think this is really neat to look at all these, to look at the versions of the church as it developed before they built it, because it's just could have been so much more contained, so much more, you know, not unique. I'm glad it ended up like it did. I never knew that. I guess I never thought about like the planning and how it got more and more ambitious, more and more outside the norm. I bet it was, you know, probably very controversial, but now it's just freaking popular. It's cool. This, I didn't know this either. The towers have symbols, made up of symbols of the bishops. You've got the, whatever you call the bishop hat. It says La Mitra. The Mitre, I guess that's what it's called, at the top. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I see it. The staff and the ring, you know, it's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but cool to know. But certainly, you know, that's cool to know all the symbolism of the stuff on the church that we're looking at. Yeah, it's a little kind of, see, there you go. Now that I know, it's kind of obvious when you look at it. Anyway, guess that's about it for now. Close us out with one last look. Here's the front of Sagrada Familia. Very, very nice to see it again. It's expensive. It's like 40 euros to get in with the tour and the tower, but still kind of pricey. but worth it. It's an amazing, amazing building. So thanks for watching. Hope this inspired you to come to Spain with Dad, Mom, that is. And see you soon.